Corresponding parts of congruent triangles. So this is the acronym for this is CPCTC, and it's just I don't like acronyms, but it's in all the textbooks, so you need to know that. So corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. CPCTC. Okay, so they're a little tricky at first. That's why I'm making this video. So, but once you do them a few times, you get the rules down, it starts being pretty simple. Okay, so which triangle is congruent to XZY? Okay, so when we have two triangles that are congruent, all the letters have to match up. Okay, all the points. So two triangles are congruent. So we know W and Y match up. Okay, so W and Y match up because they're two right angles. We also know the Z angles match up. Okay, and the X angles match up. So see how X matches, maybe I can draw it here. X matches, it doesn't let me draw it. So if we have an X, Z, Y is congruent to X, Z, W, we see that, let me do a different color for this. Okay, so we see that X and X match. We see that Z and Z match, and then we see that Y and W match. It also works for sides. So can you see that WX and XY are congruent? WX and XY. So let's see. X and Y needs to be congruent to X and W. Okay, see how they're both congruent? All right, let's try another one. This is a reflexive property, X and Z. X and Z is congruent to itself. So XC is congruent to XZ, so that works as well. These two sides right here, or these 2 points making a side, are congruent to each other. And lastly, we have ZY and ZW, and they match up. So all those things match up, okay? And you hit check. So first point, each letters need to each point needs to match up, okay? And then each side needs to match up. That's how you can check it, okay? All right, so now this one's a little bit more complicated. ABC is congruent to BAD, or bad, okay? So ABC, so they're overlapping triangles. Okay, BD, and you don't even need to look at this diagram. So BD, B and D needs to match up with, same order, A and C. Okay, so what is AC? It's 16 units. So BD, AC. I just matched up the letters, the order of the letters. Okay, so if I asked you, what does AD match up with, side AD? It matches up with side BC, okay? And so on. Now, angle BAD. So remember, with BAD, whenever we have an angle and 3 letters, the angle is this middle letter. That's the angle, okay? So we're looking at BAD, and then these are the ones, the B and the D are describing what triangle it's in, okay? So BAD is here, okay, right here. It's this angle right here, and it's got to match up with A and BAD matches up with angle B and ABC. So it's got an angle, it is congruent to angle ABC because B, let me write it in a different color, let's clear everything. And BAD, A matches with B. They're both the second letter in this, okay? So let's find what is ABC. AB B is right here. ABC is 45. Okay? Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. All right. BAD is congruent to what? Okay? So now we got to match them up. All right? So one thing we know is D and C match up. Okay? So we're going to move this triangle to the left. And D and C match up because they're both 59 degrees. So we're going to put C at the end so it can match up with that. Okay? Now what's another one it can match up with if we can do that? So I don't really know, right? Okay, so let's match up the sides. Okay? We know A and B need to match up with A and B. Okay? It's the same letters. It's reflexive property. Okay? So these do match up. So let's see if this works, okay? So BD needs to match up with BC. BD needs to match up with BC. And they don't, right? BD matches up with CA. So let's try moving it here, okay? ABC. So AB needs to match up with BA. AB matches up with BA, that's right. BC needs to match up with AD. BC and AD, they match up. And then finally, AC needs to match up with BD. AC, BD. Okay? They all match up. AC, these two letters, the first and the third, need to match with the first and the third of the other triangle. Okay? All right, so we have BD. So this one, we don't even need this diagram. Well, we need it for the numbers, but let's just look at this first. We have, what does BD match up with? Well, we have BD. B and D are the second and third letters of this. So if you have first, second, and third, so what are the second and third of this? BC. So it matches up with BC. BC is 8. All right, now we have DAB. DAB. So A is the number, or is the letter we're concerned with. So D A B. So we're looking at angle A in the DAB triangle. So we're whoops. So if we have DAB angle, we're looking at this. This is our angle A in the DAB triangle. So the DA. So this angle right here. And then that needs to be congruent. So A and A, all right, let me erase this. A and A need to match up. Okay? So A matches up. This is the first letter here. So it matches up with the first letter here. So these two match up, A and A, okay? So A here is 53 degrees. So they match up there. Okay? Hopefully this makes sense. Just keep practicing it and it'll start coming to you. Just keep the letters straight. Remember, this is for when we have the triangles here, we've got first, second, and third. And this one is first, second, and third. And they match up. Okay?